Hello, wonderful human beings, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Remy and I share lots of vegan recipes and tips to help you live well. And today we're going to be talking about food waste. Now, food waste is something that is always really top of mind for me and something that I'm very passionate about as somebody who works with food constantly. Although I can't call myself 100% sustainable or zero waste, I am very proud of my food waste minimizing habits. I think food is a really great place to start when it comes to thinking about ways to minimize your impact. Number one, eating plant-based, of course, is really beneficial for the planet, but also just being mindful about the food that you're throwing out and where it goes or how you dispose of it can be really helpful too. I'm going to show you 5 different ways to repurpose what would normally be food waste. A lot of it is just rethinking what we know to be garbage and just using everything as much as possible before composting. The majority of our waste goes to landfills, and that is a huge contributor to greenhouse gases. And when it comes to landfill, food scraps make up a huge percentage of that waste. When organic matter like food scraps go to the landfills, they anaerobically break down, so they start to decompose without oxygen, and that in turn creates greenhouse gas, which can escape the landfill and then start to penetrate the atmosphere. When we compost, however, it breaks down and decomposes in more of a natural way because there's oxygen involved, and this actually produces really nutrient-rich soil as well, so it's kind of a win-win to compost. We end up sending a lot less waste to landfills this way and also end up with really, really rich soil. Speaking of compost, I want to introduce the sponsor of today's video, Pila. Pila is a Canadian company on a mission to reduce waste and better the planet. They are 1% for the Planet member, B Corp certified, and climate neutral certified as well. They created the world's first 100% compostable phone case, and they're really, really cute. I actually own a couple different designs. This polka dot one is my personal favorite at the moment. They also have AirPod cases and other goodies like that that are all earth friendly. Their compostable products can be broken down in the backyard or in an industrial compost. So if you have a backyard compost, you can just toss it in with your food scraps, which I think is so amazing.
Here are some of the iPhone cases that they have. They're really flexible and soft, and they come in all different kinds of colors and patterns. They also have AirPod cases, which I think are the handiest because they're cute and also have a nice key ring.
So as I mentioned, they are the sponsor of today's video, and if you'd like to check them out, the first 40 people to use the link in my description box will get 40% off their purchase. You can get yourself a phone case or AirPod case that looks good and is also good for the planet. All right, let's get into the food waste hacks. Food waste hack number 1 is to eat your stems. So I'm talking about broccoli stems specifically, but a lot of veggies have stems that just simply go to waste. Things like kale stems, Swiss chard stems, cauliflower stems even, they're all just as edible and wonderful as the stalk or the leaf of the plant. Okay, this might sound really obvious, but nowadays at the grocery store, a lot of the times you'll find broccoli crowns and the stem's already cut off because people just don't know that you can eat it or don't want to. So if you happen to find some broccoli or cauliflower with the stems still intact, don't throw it away, chop it up and use it because it is just as delicious. One of my favorite things to do with broccoli stem is to saute it just like any other vegetable. My sister is actually a bigger fan of the stem than the broccoli tops. Or you can make my broccoli Caesar salad, which I've shared in another video. And basically you want to chop your broccoli florets into bite-sized pieces and also cut the stem, which has a really nice crunch. Toss it in a creamy Caesar dressing, or you can also give it a quick blanch if you want to soften it just a little bit and then toss to coat. You can do this with almost any recipe that calls for broccoli. Instead of just using the tops, just use the whole plant. Same mentality applies to other vegetables like beets. You can use the beet greens and cook with them. A lot of people actually don't and just toss them out. Carrot tops are also edible and can be used a lot. So this next hack, food waste hack number 2, is very similar and something that I share quite often on social media because I love strawberries and people are always so surprised that you can eat the strawberry tops. I actually thought this was fairly normal, but as it turns out, most people don't eat the strawberry tops. I would recommend starting out by throwing them into smoothies because when you blend them, they are just simply undetectable. And for best taste, you want to look for strawberries with really fresh greens. They should be nice and vibrant, not dried out and brown. Those will obviously not taste as good, although they're still technically edible. And they are actually fairly nutritious as well. And honestly, if you're eating the whole strawberry in one bite, you're not really going to taste it. Trust me on this one. Food waste hack number 3. This one has to do with citrus. Now, I'm a big citrus lover. I love grapefruit and snacking on them. I use lemons and limes for cooking all the time. So whatever kind of citrus peel I have, I turn into a citrus peel cleaner. This is great because it's non-toxic and easy to make at home. It's also a lot more affordable to make than going out and buying a bottled cleaner, for example. And of course, we're getting the most out of our citrus peel. Something that a lot of people don't know is that the essential oil from citrus fruit is actually stored in the peel. So a lot of that scent nutrient and that goodness and the vitamins are in the skin itself. So it's actually a fairly simple process. Just collect your peels, cover with vinegar, and then let sit for about 2 weeks so that the oils can infuse really nicely. It's gonna smell strong at first, but you end up diluting it when you actually use it. So to use it, you're gonna mix it with water, castile soap, a little bit of additional essential oil if you'd like, and you're ready to go. This is a cleaning solution that my mom would use ever since I was young, and we've always made it at home growing up, and it's so easy and so affordable. Food waste hack number 4 is to make herbed butter cubes or olive oil cubes. So whenever my herbs are going bad, which honestly happens very quickly, I try to remove them and chop them up, and I'll infuse them into some melted butter before pouring them into an ice cube tray. This is just a really nice way to preserve the herbs before they go completely off, and you can store them in your freezer, and when you're ready to cook, it's actually super convenient because you can grab one of these cubes, add them to a pan, and they'll melt down, so it saves you a little bit of prep time as well. Normally I would also add garlic, which I didn't have on hand, but you can add pretty much anything that you'd like. And finally, food waste hack number 5. This one might also seem really straightforward, but I figured it's worth throwing in there just in case. So every time I buy a glass jar of peanut butter or nut butter of any kind, I like to make sure that I use up every single bit of almond butter. And one of the easiest ways I've found to get rid of like that little excess on the edge of the jar that actually turns out to be quite a lot of nut butter is to use that jar to make chia pudding or overnight oats. And I'll just put it directly in there. I'll add all of my ingredients, give it a good shake, and then when it's ready to eat, all of the oats and the liquid have absorbed that nut butter, and it adds flavor. It's super convenient because you can take the glass jar on the go. And when you're done, of course, just wash the jar out and use it again. Nut butters come in both plastic and glass jars, and you can do this with either one. I think glass jars are a little sturdier and you can reuse them after that. But if you're using plastic, it's important to rinse out anyway, so it's just an easy way to really get all of that goodness out of there before you wash it and then recycle. All right, friends, these are just 5 really easy ways to reduce food waste. If you're interested in more hacks like this, let me know. I would be so happy to share. I could honestly go on, and a lot of it is just reframing the way that we think about food and what is edible and what is trash. I know that food waste isn't really the sexiest topic, but the truth is it's really beneficial in so many ways. Think about it like this: since you're buying food, you may as well get your money's worth out of the food that you buy and also use it as an opportunity to do something better for the planet. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you'll never miss another video. And I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface with only 5 waste hacks, so hopefully I will see you for another one soon. If you guys like it, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest at Veggiekins, and all the recipes are always on veggiekinsblog.com. Okay, bye!